The term Library of Congress refers to one of the largest libraries on Earth, as well as the alphanumerical classification system that is used in libraries around the world. The system was first developed at the end of the 19th century, when John Russell Young, the head librarian of the time, hired catalogers J.C.M. Hansen and Charles Martel to reclassify the steadily growing collection and replace Thomas Jefferson's existing system. Library of Congress classification, also known as LCC, divides all knowledge into 21 categories. An additional letter, or even 2 additional letters, can be added for greater specificity in the subclasses. Additionally, numbers provide further clarification on the topic, author, and year published. The Library of Congress also has a widely used system called the Library of Congress subheadings, or LCSH. These were established around the same time as the classification system as a whole, with the publication of the widely used subject headings used in the dictionary catalogs of the Library of Congress in 1909. Eventually, the title was revised to the now well-known Library of Congress subject headings. The LCC and LCSH were both developed for the use of the Library of Congress's own collection, though they were thought to be appropriate for large public and university libraries as well. Most small libraries did not adopt the LCSH until the 1930s, when it was deemed the most economically feasible, instead of constantly updating their own lists or relying on the outdated ALA's list of subject headings for use in dictionary catalogs or Sears list of subject headings. Today, the LCSH is the leading subject heading language worldwide, particularly in English-speaking countries, though it is also used in translation to other languages. For a long time, however, the LCSH has received a slew of criticism. Upon its conception, libraries criticized its use of inverted and subdivided headings instead of more natural language. In an inverted heading, the most significant term is first, followed by a modifier. For example, song, French, or art, American would be inverted headings. A subdivided heading has a secondary heading to further break down a topic. The LCSH is also largely condemned for bias in its naming. These criticisms first rose in the 1960s, with academics claiming that the subject headings favor a perspective that is American or Western European, Christian, white, heterosexual, and male. In 1971, Sanford Berman released the largely influential Call for Change, Prejudices and Antipathies, a tract on the LC subject heads concerning people. Berman proposed alterations that sought to present a more neutral language. In 1980, around 10 years after the publication of Berman's work, the Library of Congress convened a Racism and Sexism in Subject Analysis Subcommittee. Additionally, with digitization, changing headings became an easier task. As a result of 225 changes suggested by Berman, 88 headings were changed exactly as he suggested, while 54 others resembled his recommendations. 80 others, meanwhile, remained unchanged. Today, the LCSH still draws controversy for suggested bias. One academic, Paramita Biswas, observed that Indians is used to encompass indigenous peoples, while people related to the country of India are represented under the headings East Indians and East Indian Americans. Biswas proceeded to label this choice a problematic vestige of colonialism and remarked that it lacked literary warrant. Another heading that prompted discussion was the term illegal aliens. The heading illegal aliens persisted from the first ever LCSH in the early 20th century. In 2014, a group of Dartmouth students petitioned for a change in that language. Their proposal was rejected and taken up by the ALA. In 2016, the Library of Congress announced they would change the heading to a great backlash from Congress. Representative Diane Black even proposed the Stopping Partisan Policy at the Library of Congress Act. The bill never progressed, but Congress members, including Senator Ted Cruz, continued to fight the change. However, the heading was eventually removed in 2021. Controversy is not new to the LCSH, but Congress has never before intervened to such an extent. This marks another chapter in the LCSH's and the Library of Congress as a whole's tumultuous history.